What up, fellas? It's your boy, Ben, Wiffle Statement, back again with the podcast. Happy February, guys. Gee whiz, I can't believe it. Man, January just feels like it flew by. I think only put out 2 videos last month. But yeah, happy February. You know, for Wiffle Ball, February is kind of like, to me, the worst month of the year because, like, you know, of course the season's completely over, you're in the off season, but also it's almost, you can't even really look back, you know, on last year because last year's so old now, so it's just like that awkward time when you're waiting for summer to roll around. But yeah, for me it's kind of hard to make content because you know, nothing's really going on with leagues right now, so sorry if the videos here are kind of sparse, but trust me, they will be ramping up by the time we start to hit April, you know. Then everything's going to be awesome. Sycamore Park's going to be coming back, and all the other leagues are going to be ramping up again, so I'll be making a lot of videos, keeping track of them, start the conversation to see who's making runs at the league championships this year. You can follow me with that around April, and if you want to keep up with Sycamore Park, you can follow us on Instagram. I've been trying to post on there about once a day, you know, just not even, you know, a lot of it's related to Sycamore Park, but, you know, it's all just wiffle ball related, so if that's interesting to you, then definitely go check it out. But yeah, as February is kind of, you know, one of the months where there's not much stuff going on in the wiffle ball world, the one thing that did happen in January, or not even January, like, when did it come out? Not too long ago, a couple days ago, was that MLW released a 15-minute video documentary, excuse me, kind of in a ESPN, you know, 30 for 30, that's what they called it, 30 for 30-esque style video that recapped the Mallards, or, you know, Quack Attack, their run at the championship last year, you know, and it started from the beginning of the year when they were getting their team together, and followed them up through the first half of the season, through the second half of the season, and through the playoffs, and of course, their comeback in last year's World Series, which to me was their MLW, of course, to me it was their best year, and it was also their best World Series. First of all, I want to talk about that video for a second because, first of all, the quality of that content was amazing. Kyle, if you're listening to this, you did a fantastic job. It's really, you know, I do a little bit of professional video work, so not to tote my own horn, but from my eye, you know, it's incredibly well done. Everything's very coherent. It flows extremely well. And yeah, it was a really great video. I hope it's only sitting at, I think, like 3,000 views right now, so hopefully that'll go up soon because it really is something awesome to watch. I've linked it below in the description if you want to go check it out. But the reason I want to bring that up in today's podcast is something interesting that I was thinking about, is that this is a documentary on, now it's becoming, actually MLW is becoming more professional every year, actually every month now with the updates they're making for 2018, but looking back, for a backyard league for wiffle ball to make their own documentary and for it to be like accepted by the YouTube community as being awesome, that is amazing. And that to me shows how impressive MLW's channel has grown to where they can put out a video like that and people feel invested enough in the players, in the team, in the competition to really enjoy it. I know I did. And to me, it brings up the point that I made in, I think, episode 2 of this podcast, is that I feel wiffle ball this year and then the next couple years, it's really growing. I think in some ways it's shrinking, like the guard to me is kind of being changed for wiffle ball. I mean, I'm kind of new on the scene myself, but to me the guard is kind of being changed, and wiffle ball is at a huge growing point. It's almost like this culture is growing up around it. Like, you know, I think you have a lot of new people that are getting into it. A lot of the old veterans are getting more recognition to me. Palisades hit 1,000 followers on Instagram not too long ago. That was awesome. And it just seems like wiffle ball to me is getting in the limelight more and more than it has before. And I hope that keeps going because it is such an awesome game. And to me, it deserves a lot more, you know, recognition. And, you know, the only thing that really competes with wiffle ball to me is blitzball. I've never really made a video talking about blitzball, but I don't particularly like it, and I'd have to get into the specifics of why I don't. Just the gameplay itself, to me, it's completely, like, I don't mind it, but to me, it's so inferior when I could just be playing wiffle ball instead. But that's just my opinion. But to me, blitzball doesn't have the culture that wiffle ball does. Like, blitzball is just kind of a meme to me, and wiffle ball is like this huge community that jars back and forth with each other, that, you know, gets behind the leagues, that gets behind the players and the competition. And back to my original point, talking about MLW's 30 for 30, you know, you listen to that video and the interview with Coughlin, McPeak, and Noah Dabrico, they all seem to be having, like, a great time, like, genuinely having fun with it. Like, they even talk, like, we went practice on the baseball field to get ready, you know, and stuff. So, like, it's a serious thing, you know, and that's the one thing I love. It's like wiffle ball, yeah, it's a fun game, and you can mess around and have fun, but it can also be super competitive, you know, and that's the thing with MLW, is that it is really competitive, and it is really popular. And I've talked about why their league is a great way for people that aren't really involved in wiffle to get into it, so I'm not going to get into that here. But if you watch the 30 for 30, which you should definitely do after this video, but if you watch the 30 for 30, it's hilarious because, like, throughout the whole video, Noah mostly, I think Tommy a little bit too, they're just trash talking all the other teams. They're like, I forget, they said like Ryan Cratchit is, you know, arrogant, he's full of himself, Daniel is overrated, and I forget some of the other stuff they threw out there, but it was just hilarious. And, you know, it's almost like, it's not on the same scale at all, but it's like, you know, when, you know, football celebrities or boxer celebrities jar at the other team or whatever, it's almost the same thing. But because this is, you know, wiffle ball and it's on a smaller scale than those sports, it's very personal. And that's what I love about wiffle ball, is that the problem with major league sports to me is that they've become so big, they've become so monopolized, that we've really lost our connection with the players, with the team, you know, with the unity feeling. Now, I still love professional baseball. I watch it a lot, but watching professional wiffle ball or like MLW or something, to me, is so fun because you feel a real connection to these players. You know, it's not like these guys are making a living off of it. They're doing it because they really enjoy it, and they love the competition, and they can feed off of the fans, and the fans can feed off of them, and it's a great community. Not just with MLW, but with Golden Stick, with Fast Plastic, with Palisades, with the National Wiffle Ball League Association, you know, whatever, even your own backyard league. That's what makes it so much fun. You know, I talked about, you know, no one's making a living off of wiffle ball. You know, you win a tournament, you know, maybe you can make a couple $100, you know, a couple thousand if you want, cover your travel expenses, but no one's making a living off of wiffle ball. And maybe one day, you know, X years from now, I could be, you know, 50 years old. Maybe some huge league will blow up and wiffle ball will be an actual pro sport that people are getting paid contracts for. Maybe that could happen. Who knows? You know, heck, you know, table tennis is a professional sport. People get paid for that. You know, you could also make the argument, why not just play actual tennis? You know, I feel like that's kind of a comparison with wiffle ball and baseball. I mean, in some ways, I do really like wiffle ball more than baseball, but, you know, I still play baseball in case you're wondering. But, I mean, but back to my original point, you know, if we ever reach a point where wiffle ball players, you can make your living playing the game, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I would really like it on one hand because, you know, it'd be awesome to make my living doing that. But at the same time, I think one thing that currently makes wiffle ball so appealing is that it has the competitiveness of a professional sport, but it still has the atmosphere, the camaraderie, and everything of just a down-to-earth competition. Like there's no, you know, there's no fluff. There's no fluff. And while I do love the MLW 30 for 30 video, it just shows that, you know, not the fluff. I'm sorry, I misworded that. But fans are so invested that they're willing to sit down and watch a 15-minute video on some freshmen in college playing wiffle ball in Michigan. That, I love that. To me, that is the essence of wiffle ball, because it's just about having fun, you know? And from that competitiveness, we get wiffle ball. That's what that's what makes it so enjoyable. Like, and I love how we're starting to see. You have a lot of backyard leagues now that are just popping up because they want to imitate MLW. And like I've already talked about this before, so I don't want to rehash it. But they want to become like MLW, and hopefully those guys will start to transition into more fast pitch leagues. But wiffle ball right now it's always been a culture. Right now, the culture is huge. It's like Migos. Freaking, if you get that reference, you're cool. But the culture of wiffle ball is so big right now, and as opposed to like 10 years ago when it was more of a private, secluded thing, now I think it's becoming more and more public every year. Like MLW just got a sponsorship with Baseball Lifestyle, I believe, and they're gonna have jerseys made so people can buy jerseys. Like, think about that. That's amazing. Now, one thing that I think MLW will still maintain its down-to-earth feel, and I think all wiffle ball leagues will, for a long, long time. But you're still going to be able, to have merchandise, to be able to have stats on all the players, and you're having the level of engagement that you'd have on the pro level, but it's still a very down-to-earth feel. And to me, that's what makes wiffle ball so great. That's basically it. I mean, I know this podcast is a little short, but I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. But that's just like what I wanted to say in this one. I watched the 30 for 30 video, and I really started thinking about that, with pro wiffle ball and how I love the down-to-earth feel. And, if you're out there, and you don't have, your own league or whatever, just play wiffle ball, guys. Like, you can, where there's a will, there's a way. You can start your own. Look at MLW. Look at the humble beginnings they had, and now look where they are. And that's one of my missions, especially here in the South, is to grow, really get wiffle ball going down here and, across the U.S. Because wiffle ball is growing right now, and I think there's a huge amount of people that would play that just haven't yet. And I honestly want this community to grow a lot, and hopefully it will. But it's not going to, you can't leave it all to MLW. There have been YouTube channels, Palisades has been holding it down for years with their content. Golden State 2 has also been doing a great job. I'm trying to do my part, but it's all about creating a culture and a community to enjoy wiffle ball, enjoy the competitiveness, to enjoy the fun, and, everything that comes from that. So, I guess I'm going to wrap up the podcast here, guys. Sorry this episode was a little short, but I just really wanted to talk about this. And hope you did enjoy it. Hope you all have a good month of February. I'll be talking to you on the podcast coming in March. But I'm sure I'll have some videos, in between that'll be really, really fun. And if you want some more consistent, stuff, like I said in the beginning of this video, go follow SP Wiffs on Instagram. That'll be awesome. I'm trying to really grow that and get the community from YouTube, going over there too on Instagram. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome February. Try to stay warm. Try to keep in shape for this summer for wiffle ball. And, go watch that 30 for 30 video, too. I linked it in the description of this video. So, that's it. Talk to you guys on the next video. Goodbye.